T-L.
It's time!
W-T-L.
I think we got a show. Oh, yeah, we got a show.
W-T-L.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
JaBron.
the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back. We're back in here.
Yes, we are. We had another pretty darn good week last week.
Of course.
We'll get into that with some hits and misses down the road.
Yeah.
But right here, right now, let's keep that full head of steam rolling in the NFL preseason.
Yeah.
Because, hey, man, we're picking them.
We're
picking them, and there's betting lines out there, and there's plenty of action. It's the NFL.
It's the NFL. Everybody wants it. It's the best time of year. Everybody's gearing up for it. And the only way to bet the regular season is to get in on it now and get your money going the right way.
You got to get comfortable. You got to get comfortable
I agree.
betting football, betting the NFL. So let's start with
go.
A game that's going to be on the NFL Network. High noon kickoff. That is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 1-0 right now in the preseason, against the Detroit Lions, who are also 1-0 with a full head of steam. A lot of folks around Nebraska, across Nebraska, were really tuned into that Detroit game.
No doubt.
Last week, and it did not disappoint. Our old boy, Adrian Martinez, got some meaningful snaps in there and had a huge impact on the game.
Yeah, Adrian clinched the win with a touchdown rush from the 1-yard line. He did that a bunch for us, obviously. Executed with, just a mere minute and 51 seconds left, so it pretty much ended the game. Another guy, big-time Nebraska Cornhusker, Divine Ezigbo, was the leading rusher for the Detroit Lions as well. Got 11 rushes, 31 yards. Not a lot of steam going, but they gave him 11 rushes, so seems like this guy's going to be on the field as well for the Detroit Lions, especially in this game.
And Adrian really showed you what he's best at. When the play breaks down, he can go get you a first down with his legs. He did that, and then he also capped it off with a short yardage touchdown sneak there at the end to put the Lions over the top. Here and now, though, I think they find themselves a 3-point dog at home against Jacksonville. That over-under sitting at 39.5.
Yeah, Andy. And the Jacksonville Jaguars, their preseason started off on a positive note, like you said, 1-0. Really got their big guys going early. Christian Kirk, who's supposed to be their number one, got a touchdown pass from Trevor Lawrence. Zay Jones also contributed with the 2-point conversion. So I think we've seen enough out of those guys that they're probably not going to play, maybe not even a series. But following Lawrence, C.J. Beathard, like we were saying last week, he's a very formidable backup. Took the field for Jacksonville, throwing 6 for 13 for 80 yards. Notably, had a rushing touchdown. So this guy's going to get a lot of time in this game as well. And they combined with the Cowboys for 51 points, and that over-under was sitting right where this one is. So I like the over for my best bet, Andy, just because the Lions were able to score a lot, 21 points, and then obviously Jacksonville put up some points as well. So I really like the over. Talking about the Lions, Andy, it was really kind of a slugfest in this game. It was, last week. It was, the Giants running the ball, Detroit trying to run the ball. So I don't like. I can see why they're the dog here, but I do really kind of want to push for it that I think the +3 at home is the way to go with the Detroit Lions. I just think that they're going to be a better team at home. Jacksonville's going to take their foot off the gas pedal, so to speak, especially with Trevor Lawrence. And I think Detroit is getting a favorable matchup with plus money here. Yeah,
you're probably going to see those starters 1 or 2 less series, probably for both teams because Goff's been around.
Oh, yeah, Goff.
He's played in the Super Bowl, so he's probably going to be out the door. And then I think you like what we saw, especially being a biased Nebraska fans, from the reserve quarterback position in Detroit. So I kind of like that, too. I like that plus money coming my way, catching those 3 points. I'll just go ahead and hopefully walk that into the bank.
Yeah, exactly. And if you just want a money line, it's plus 130 for the Detroit Lions if you want to take them outright. But I will take those points, Andy, just in case it's a field goal or whatever. I anticipate a slight edge, like we said, for the home team, but maybe just over a field goal for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So back the points. I think the over is going to hit, though.
Yeah, I think that's a solid logic right there, JaBron.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the afternoon game on the NFL Network. That is the Miami Dolphins taking on the Houston Texans. Oh, man, Houston did end up winning last week, but the only highlight you saw was Stroud throwing that interception, people just wouldn't get off it. Man, those Barstool guys, they're just all over
it. That's what it is.
Oh, man.
I'm one of these teams that has one of those rookie quarterbacks, and he didn't do good as well last week. It's just everybody hops on these rookie quarterbacks the first chance that they can get, no matter if it's CJ, Anthony Richardson, Will Levis threw an interception. Bryce didn't look good. It was just it's just the way that it is. It's the first preseason game. You need to think about this out there. It's not just these quarterbacks' first game in the NFL. It's pretty much this whole roster is new to the NFL. So not that I'm trying to save face or anything for the Panthers or whatever, but in that Houston game, everybody just boiled down that win, which is a very positive thing for the Houston Texans, probably one of their only ones all year. They just boiled it down to CJ Stroud sucks and threw a pick.
Yep.
I think I do like him here, Andy. And
they are the favorites. They're a 3-point favorite.
3-point favorite. The whole thing about this is that the Miami Dolphins, they're going to struggle again in this game. They're pretty much a shell of what we're going to see in the regular season, which is one of the best teams in the.
They're so injury prone. Even Tyreek Hill, a hammy here.
Don't play him there.
Yeah, they don't. They don't even want to see him out there at all.
And there are a lot of youngsters on Houston that know the roster spot is on the line, and will have to play really hard and really strong to stay on the team. So this has the makings of I think a little bit of a Houston blowout here.
Really? Okay.
I think, and I really think they're going to put Stroud in some really good positions to make some highlight plays and get them back on track a little bit. So I think just barring any, late additional injury reports to Houston, I really think that they're going to cover this, and I have them winning this game like 27-10, Andy.
Okay, so you're right on the over-under there at 39.5 points. I mean, even if they do try to amp things up, I don't know if either one of these offenses are good enough to cover that.
No, I do. If I had to back a play, I would back the under, just because I know Miami, they're just going to try and get some of these running backs in the stable, a lot of touches, slow the ball down, all that kind of stuff. So I really think that they're going to eat the clock a lot. And Houston, I think, is going to score, but I don't know how many possessions they're going to get. So if I had to back a play, it's the under.
All righty, back the under. You're kind of going back and forth here between the over and the under so far. Let's move on to the nightcap. That's a 6 o'clock kickoff Saturday night, not college. This is preseason NFL. The Chicago Bears are traveling to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Chicago actually won their first preseason game. The Colts dropped theirs 0-1, and that's another one of those rookie quarterbacks that people are just jumped on.
Jumped on him.
Oh, man.
Shouldn't have picked him. Shouldn't have picked
him. Waste of a pick.
Yeah, you should have picked an offensive lineman. Come on, man. It's just funny how people go back and forth on that. They were saying the same thing about Justin Fields 9 months ago. So it's just the same thing. I do have to ask you, that Panthers receiver is going to work out pretty good for you, it looks like.
He also makes Fields look pretty good. Everyone is so gaga over Justin Fields. I'm like, I think his longest pass was 7 yards.
Yeah, so, and the one that he threw to DJ Moore was behind the line of scrimmage and off target.
And took it to the house.
And took it to the house.
A 60-yard.
Yeah, him and Khalil Herbert looked really good in the two plays that they were in. I think this is one of the more interesting matchups this week. It seems as if the Bears have some positive momentum heading their way.
Yeah.
A new coaching staff, breath of fresh air, all that kind of stuff, especially with these new pieces that they got. Many people, like we were just talking about Justin Fields, are talking about this potential MVP type. It's so crazy to me that before you even have a winning season, they're talking about MVP candidate. I just think that that's so wrong of people to put that pressure on him already.
Yeah,
and especially on a losing franchise's team.
Let's see him just have a 64 completion percentage or something like that first. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
I'm still not sold on the young man. I like him. I hope he's the answer. I hope he works out. But they're saying all the same stuff with Trubisky.
Exactly.
He had a lot of hype after winning a couple meaningless games at the end of a previous season.
Yeah.
And it was the same talk. Oh, dark horse for the MVP, all this other stuff.
Win a regular season, positive, win-loss record, and then I'll think about it. Not somebody like the Bears that won 5 games last year and everybody's getting on it. I do believe the Bears as an underdog here seems like an odd choice. I like the Bears winning this game, Andy. So I am going to take that money line sitting at plus 150 right now. So I don't like taking road dogs a lot, but this is one that I really think the Bears, they got a lot of young pieces on defense that are still going to be in the game. And Justin Fields still needs to get that feel with these receivers and running backs.
They are on the road, and they are 3.5-point dogs right now, and it's a plus 145 at BetMGM right now. So, you can shop it around a little bit, like we always say. That over-under is at 40.5, and if I'm reading you right, you're going to have a couple of teams with a lot of young guys, a lot of offensive weapons that are going to want to show off
no doubt.
Their skills and ultimately make the roster. And you got two young quarterbacks that kind of mirror one another.
They sling it.
Yeah, they like to sling it, and they can also use their legs. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see an over here, just because I think you have two young teams here that are going to be hungry for victory, regardless if it's the preseason or not.
Yeah, no doubt, Andy. And I really think you hit it nail on the head there, that these young guys want to win these games. Obviously, Anthony Richardson needs an uptick or whatever, and Justin Fields does need that confidence going into the season as well. The only thing that I'm getting after with the over-under, Andy, is I think it's going to keep raising all the way till Saturday. I think it opened at 38. It's already up to 40.
40.5, I'm looking at.
I think it's going to go up and up and up until, it kind of plateaus probably around 42, 43 points.
Wow.
I do like it. I do think they're going to try and score a lot of points. I just don't know how much confidence I have in the young quarterbacks yet.
Yeah, and going plus 40 in the preseason, there's already a million different question marks right there.
Yeah.
I do like the offensive playmaker, especially DJ Moore. You mentioned him for the Chicago Bears. I think they'll be just fine at running back.
Yeah, Khalil Herbert is a beast.
Yeah, and they got a couple guys to split carries with too there.
No doubt.
Running back by committee, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
You just heard the horn there. That means we're up against it, but go ahead. Give me the Bears. Give me the Bears in the preseason.
Let's go.
Once again,
Bears.
Take another underdog here in the preseason.
Let's go.
Let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. We've been enjoying the smooth, easy-drinking Ale Storm, the official beer of Omaha's AAA baseball team. Crafted with Pilsner malt and Sterling hops, making it the perfect summer baseball beer. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is WTL. And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
JaBron.
Ooh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it.
And now we're going to talk some mixed martial arts.
Let's do it.
Not only the UFC, we absolutely have to talk PFL because we got one of our own.
We got our guy.
A Nebraska native out of Norfolk, a former Panther, I believe.
Yeah.
Jordan Heiderman.
Thor.
He does
look like Thor.
That is a fitting nickname if there ever was one.
For sure.
But Thor, young man that he actually did, obviously he did really good in wrestling in high school.
Doubt.
But then he wrestled in junior college and played football in junior college. Then went on to play for the University of Indiana as a defensive lineman.
Wow.
And he credits that his football experience. It helps him in his explosion and being on his feet, good footwork, handwork, all that type of stuff. When he was rushing the quarterback and sacking guys in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
And he is playing in what's called the playoffs here, and he's at the semifinals. Much like a lot of folks probably saw him on the Ultimate Fighter.
UFC Ultimate Fighter last season. Really cool to see a guy, out of Nebraska, out of Norfolk, Nebraska, in a big time show like that, and he won a fight in the Ultimate Fighter. And just to bring that back to Nebraska is a really cool thing. And now he's in the playoffs in the heavyweight division of the PFL.
And it's really cool. I mean, this is a big deal because it's at Madison Square Garden, the Madison Square Garden in New York. It starts off at 8 p.m. on ESPN. Plus, you can bet there's going to be a lot of TV sets tuned in from the Cornhusker State as he takes on Denis Goltsov, the Russian. And let me tell you, this Russian is a heavy favorite.
Yeah, no doubt. And this Goltsov was supposed to be the number one seed in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Couldn't make it over, with visa issues and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But, obviously he's a huge favorite and everything. But Heiderman has already won a match in these playoffs. Fought Friday, June 16th, and beat Brady, the Brick.
Yeah.
So he's got his feet wet, and there's only one way to take it down: take out the number 1 seed. This is obviously going to be a hard one for him, but we're all behind him, and let's go.
Excellent opportunity. Yeah, he beat the Brick with a leg kick, didn't he? And he's 7-0 right now. Is Jordan Heiderman. Thor. Good luck to that young man. However, the odds
are against him.
The odds by the sports book are against him right now, but that doesn't stop our fandom. No, sir, not.
No doubt.
Not at all. Now let's move on to the UFC 292. Back in the Garden,
Let's
Boston.
go.
We're going back to Boston here.
Boston.
And let's start with a middleweight bout. That is Chris Weidman taking on Brad Tavares.
Yeah.
And Tavares, he's a
He's a little bit of a favorite.
I mean,
for sure
minus 270. I don't think a lot of folks are used to seeing Chris Weidman being this type of a dog. Plus 220.
Yeah, not the All-American. It's just not the way we remember him as being one of the top dogs in the sport, obviously. But after over 2 years away and a couple surgeries to repair his broken leg, former 185-pound champion,
Chris
Weidman, he's going to return to the octagon. I think this is his final fight, though, Andy. I really do believe, win or lose, I think he's hanging it up after this. Since losing his title to Luke Rockhold 8 years ago, he's 2-5 in the UFC, and failed in an attempt to move up to light heavyweight, which very hard to do, very hard to rumble with those big boys.
You see that? I feel like I see that quite often.
Yeah.
Okay, things aren't going my way in my weight class. I'm going to move up or I'm going to move down, and
Yeah.
it's going to be better there. Grass is greener. That's not always the case.
It's not. It's rarely the case. There's only a certain few fighters in the history of the UFC that can move weight classes and be successful doing it.
Right.
There's and you can tell that by double champ status. I think there's only 3 in the history of the UFC, and that's pretty crazy. On the other side of this card, Andy, Brad Tavares has the talent to hand him a fourth loss, and I really think that would put Weidman down if it was 4th loss in a row in his last 5. However, Brad Tavares does have trouble with strong wrestlers at time. The All-American does that better than anyone. So look for Weidman to work his grappling in a major way in this fight. I think he gets it. I'm going with the All-American. I think he grinds this one out.
Yeah.
I'm taking the wrestler. I think he gets him down on the ground, and it's over.
Tavares has a pretty good takedown defense at 80%. It's not his strong suit, actually grappling, but he's had to learn how to defend against it.
Yeah.
I kind of like the favorite here. Are you looking at any kind of nuggets, any type of Easter eggs there when we're looking at some of these props?
You can look a little bit. I kind of like, Weidman by decision, which is right there at plus 500, which is, kind of a good piece. If you're going to bet Weidman anyways, that's probably the way that he's going to do it. He's going to get on top of him, let the clock run out. It's only a 3-round fight. So I really think Weidman's going to play smart here, get a win to set sail on his journey outside the UFC. So I like the plus 500 by Weidman. If you want to go Tavares by TKO, it's sitting at a plus 130. So you can tell that odds makers really think this is going to happen.
Yeah, that it might not go 3 rounds.
It might not go 3 rounds, and if history tells you anything about old fighters, that's probably the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
But give me the All-American plus 500 by decision.
It usually wraps up a little early with those big boys like that.
It definitely does.
All righty, let's move on up the card to the bantamweight bout.
Yeah.
Couple big names here. Marlon Vera out of Ecuador. He is your favorite at a minus 200, minus 198, depending where you're looking, against Pedro Munhoz, the number 10 contender in this bantamweight weight class. He's out of Brazil.
Yeah.
He's also the underdog at a plus 164.
Yeah, for sure. And the over 2.5 rounds here, Andy, is favored at a minus 350. So you can tell that odds makers don't expect this fight to be an early finish. This has everything in the making to be one of the fights of the year, especially because these guys have 2 of the best chins, especially in this weight class.
Yeah.
You can just tell by Cheeto, he's the only person to ever beat Sean O'Malley in a fight in the UFC, the guy that is headlining this card.
Yeah.
This is the only guy to ever beat him in the UFC. And Pedro, on the other hand, fought O'Malley as well, and it stopped with an eye poke. So both these guys have went up against the best in the world, and it's just crazy that that they did this matchup, and it's so fun. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, a couple of ranked guys, both in the top 10, and these are 2 excellent strikers.
Yeah.
You're looking at two guys that have heavy hands, right?
No doubt.
Landing 5.3 significant strikes per round is Pedro.
Yeah.
You look over at Marlon, he's landing over 4 per round. So there's going to be some fireworks going off here in Boston.
Exactly, Andy. And technically, this is a very interesting matchup between two guys that, somehow we just said haven't crossed paths yet. It's so crazy that these guys have been around for so long and they haven't fought each other. You can expect a lot of leg kicks from both Vera and Munhoz, along with potential takedown attempts from either. If they have too much respect for each other's power, you're gonna get a little takedown here and then. But the whole reason that I'm going this way, Cheeto's length is a huge advantage. This is the same way Sean O'Malley was piecing up Pedro in his fight against him before he got stopped with the eye poke. He found his range, Sean O'Malley did, and he's just so much longer than Pedro that he found his range and was just piecing him up. Yeah. I feel like this is going to happen just the same way. The key for Pedro's to get the job done is, get inside and laying heavy shots on Vera inside. But I really think Cheeto's going to find that range and piece him up a little bit. I do believe this won't be a knockout, though.
I mean, it's pretty crazy advantage there. I'm just looking up and down the sheet here, and Vera's reach is 70.5 compared to Pedro's, which is 64.5.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't even look right.
No, it's just
discrepancy.
Cheeto Vera is so long and so lengthy that I just think it's a huge advantage in this fight, and the fact that there's not a huge advantage for either of them on takedowns and submissions. Right. I'm going to go with the longer fighter. A win here can give Vera a potential title shot to rematch. Either if Sean O'Malley wins or give him a shot at Aljamain either. So I think he's the better fighter right now. Yeah. Give me Cheeto Vera.
Yeah, and they both have similar records, as you alluded to.
Yeah.
Cheeto's in there at 28-1.
Yeah.
Munhoz at 27, and then 2 no contests there. You're talking about the eye poke.
Exactly.
That's going to be what an awkward behind locker room scene that will be with Marlon Vera, Munhoz, and Sean O'Malley.
Yeah,
all in the same building.
And it's crazy. Boston. It's crazy, Andy, just because everybody's saying that Sean didn't deserve this and all that kind of stuff. He beat Peter Yan, which has run the weight class for years. Yep. So you can't knock this guy. Even Cheeto Vera says, no, he got the fight, and that's what it is. Cheeto's coming off a loss, obviously, to Corey Sandhagen, who is one of the best of all time in the bantamweight. So these guys fight nothing but the best, and it's kind of a shuffle on who you're going to fight next, and we landed on a good one here.
That bantamweight class is so good in the UFC right now.
Go Vera. I think Vera wins this fight just because he's got the reach, and he has more on the line here. Pedro's kind of on his decline down. Vera still has a chance to make it to the belt, and if he wins here, there's a dang good shot that he gets a rematch with Sean O'Malley.
With a couple of fights we just mentioned, do you got a parlay, or do you want to save it until later on?
We got 3 fights that we're going to talk about in an upcoming,
there we go.
And I'm going to throw Cheeto in that parlay, but you'll have to hear the rest of it down the road.
A little bit of a teaser there. We also got more NFL preseason coming your way.
Sure.
And then, of course, we got to get to more of the main card on UFC 292.
Woo!
Out of the Garden.
We
got mixed martial arts in Madison Square Garden out in New York and TD Garden in Boston. That really tells you how big that sport has become.
Big weekend for MMA fans. Like you said, 2 of the most storied buildings in all of sports in America. And MMA is taking them both over Saturday night.
In the same week? Yeah, same night, same weekend. Take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Stock and Rod Company, an outdoor lifestyle brand for those seeking adventure. Whether it's hunting, fishing, hiking, they got you covered. Visit stockandrod.com to get your wild game on. Don't go in there, folks. This is WTL. Welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the Line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Klassen, joined by
JaBron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We back.
Yes, we are, and we got to get back into the NFL preseason.
Yep.
The gridiron. Oh, man. But these numbers are unbelievable as far as television ratings.
No doubt.
Just dominating everything out there like the NFL.
It just does.
Yeah.
The NFL preseason will dominate MLB regular season, no doubt. WNBA for sure. No, it's just the way that the monster of the NFL has become the monster of the NFL. Yeah. Everybody's looking at mock drafts. Everybody's gearing up for fantasy football. Everybody's texting their buddy, who's your keeper? Oh, did you see that play? This guy's a young guy that's going to make the team. It's crazy this time of year when you're a football fan because everybody's glued to the TV. Everybody's wondering who the next guy up is. Who's that sleeper pick in the 11th round that you're picking this year?
So ridiculous that I know 7 receivers on the New York Jets roster right now, and I don't even like the Jets.
Exactly.
In fact, I hate the Jets.
In fact, I hate their best player, and I hate just the organization. So, that is crazy.
Well, let's start with the Saturday night game. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this one on the NFL Network. It's a 9 o'clock kickoff. The Dallas Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
Heading on over to Seattle, and the Cowboys are a 7-point, a full touchdown dog to the Seahawks. That over-under sitting at 40.5.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the line a little bit is on what the Cowboys did last week, kind of looking to bounce back after the preseason opener when they fell to the Jaguars by a score of 28-23. Still scored quite a bit of points, Andy, for a preseason game. They were the 5-point loss there really, strings at you because they were a 4-point underdog, so couldn't quite do that.
Couldn't cover.
The Seahawks opened their preseason up with an 11-point win over the Vikings in a 24-13 game. Going into the game, the odds makers had that over-under sit at 38, which those guys almost got to
38.5.
So, their combined score is 37. So, not only did Seattle kick off the preseason with a straight up win, but they also covered. I really like the spread here for the Cowboys. There's no way
Cowboys can cover 7.
Yeah, there's no way that they are gonna let themselves lose by 7 points. I think you might see a couple extra weaves in there for the Cowboys in week 2, and I think stuff's going to kind of catch back up with the Seahawks here in week 2.
Slow down for the Seahawks and that minus 275 money line.
Yeah.
Keep me away from that. I don't want any of that juice whatsoever.
Definitely.
On the other side, though, Cowboys at that plus 220. Do you think they could sneak out a victory going all the way to Washington?
I do, Andy. And like we said, this is preseason football, so it's kind of a coin flip no matter what. That's why I don't believe that lines should get like this in the preseason, a minus 7 to a plus 7 or a plus 225 money line, because what if the Cowboys play their second string quarterback the entire time and keep their defense on the field?
Yeah. They'll win by 3 touchdowns.
Exactly. So anytime that you get a little juice on it like this, a plus 225 in a preseason game with a team that's very capable of beating the Seattle Seahawks,
right?
I really think this is the only play here, Andy, is to take the 7 points or take that money line if you want to add a little extra juice. So I like the Cowboys to cover the 7, the plus 225 if you're getting wild.
All righty. I mean, preseason, I'm not going to put up too much of an argument with you there.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to Sunday, another night game here. That's the New Orleans Saints heading on over to L.A., making all these teams from down south run out west here. The L.A. Chargers, and the home team is a 3.5-point dog here to the Saints.
Yeah, this is one that's out of whack as well, Andy, in my mind. So far, this preseason, all the Chargers did was opened up their preseason with a 17-point win over the Rams in their own building. Again, 34-17, combined for 51 points in that game. The whole thing with that one is that over-under line last week is at 33.5 points. We told people to smack that over on that one, so that was a good one. To start the preseason, they were a 2.5 point underdog there, so they got a straight up win and got the spread here. I think this happens again. Take the plus 3.5 for the Chargers. They got the boy behind Justin Herbert kind of going pretty good here, Easton Stick. Yeah, I really like him. So he's going to fall into it, and I really think that they're going to win this game. So even if you want to look at that plus 142 right now, plus 140 wherever you can find it, I really like the Chargers at home.
Easton Stick. Where have I heard that name before?
I'm sure he's played against us at some point, but
I think he's a Nebraska guy, isn't he?
No
Well,
way. No way.
He was a Bison. He went up to play for the Bison, didn't he?
Yeah. Easton Stick is a Nebraska. I thought you meant for the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, no.
You are correct in that.
No,
Andy.
we botched that recruitment just like the good old Huskers have botched
He
a
is
lot.
a good old boy from Omaha, Nebraska, Andy. So yes, he is. But he is a North Dakota State university guy.
And whatever, 3 or 4 national championships under his belt. Big whoop. Who cares?
Yeah.
But that also gives you, that makes you want to look at that money line at a plus 135 for the Chargers.
Yeah.
Because he's probably going to get a lot of snaps. New Orleans Saints, you know what Derek Carr can do. You know where he's at. Maybe they want to get him a couple extra series. I don't know. I don't know if you want to do that.
I really don't think that they're going to do that, especially when they got, Jameis and Taysom and everybody else behind him. So I really don't think Derek Carr might not even play in this game. So I just think coming from New Orleans to Los Angeles, I just think the Chargers are going to be much more ready to play, have the better backup, just the guy that's going to play more and more snaps than anybody else. So you get consistency on your side. I think you got the point spread. Take the Chargers.
You going to smash that over again? I mean, it's got jacked up here to 38.5, probably be closer to 40 or 39 at least by the time kickoff rolls around.
Yeah, for sure. I think the over's the only play here just because these are kind of high-flying offenses, both of them. The Saints, I'm kind of overshadowing them a little bit, but they do got some young pieces that can score a lot of points as well. So I like this. I like this game, and I just think I think the Chargers have a better overall chance to win this game, and I like the plus money there. But if I was lean the over.
Lean the over. All right. The play, though, is probably money's in line. It's still plus money. Why
plus
not?
money and plus 3.5 at home is unheard of.
Easy.
Yeah.
All right. So Monday night, we got our first Monday night game on ESPN.
Yeah.
That's going to be the Baltimore Ravens heading just right on over the way to the Washington. What are they called now? The Commanders.
The
Commanders. And the Commanders.
Up for debate.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. But they are a 3-point underdog at home. That over-under is sitting steady there at 38.5. I don't know who you're going to see, how much you're going to see of who.
Yeah.
Man, a lot of shade was thrown at Riverboat Ron over the weekend. It's like, it's a preseason game. What are we doing here?
What do you want them to do? It's just that, when franchises are in scrutiny like this franchise always will be now.
Yeah.
It's really tough to come back from it. On the other hand, the Ravens, started their preseason schedule up against the Eagles and got a win over them. I thought that was very surprising.
Yes, they did.
Combined points, 39 points. The two teams surpassed the 35.5 that was set for them. So I think that Baltimore does have a little bit of an edge here. These are two kind of rival, but not rival guys. They're right next to each other. I just think that the Ravens can score. The Commanders cannot. I like the Ravens here at the minus 3.5.
Yeah, and that's an important part of all football games is you got to score points in order to win.
Yeah.
And the Commanders just haven't figured that out yet. And Baltimore, they've been through this plenty, especially last year.
Yeah.
When their starting quarterback's not around, they can still win football games.
Exactly.
They've shown you that over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
So they probably will cover that 3 points. And it's not a true, like we said, road game. Baltimore to D.C., it's right there.
They're literally there. Some people might be closer to D.C. than they are Baltimore.
Right.
And the big reason that I'm talking about this is the Commanders' defense that they're going to play Monday night is just absolutely horrid. They defense struggled to get off the field. They gave up 23 first downs in a preseason game, Andy.
Yikes.
That is so bad. Look for the Ravens offense to take advantage of that struggling defense, and I just think they'll pound the rock, get it out of there, win by 7 to 10 points. So I got the Ravens. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, and once again, it's preseason, so it's tough to argue that. But Washington did win that game.
They did win.
They are sitting at first place in the NFC East over the Eagles.
I agree.
And this is a team that beat the Eagles, though, in Baltimore. And they're actually, just how stats work, they're actually listed as second in the AFC North.
That's funny how that stuff is going right now, but it's just that I just can't see the Commanders scoring more points than the Ravens, especially with that defense that the Ravens are going to
Are you leaning,
slice up.
Are you leaning towards that under then at 30.5?
If I had to play something, I probably won't play it just because these two teams, something I don't know about the Washington Commanders. So it's I would lean on the under. I don't think that they're going to score a bunch of points. I see like a 17-10 game for the Ravens, so I would lean the under.
Lean towards the under and take Ravens with that. It's not a lot of juice. They're minus 155 money line.
For sure.
And a 3-point spread there. As a favorites, nothing that they can't handle, that's for sure.
Ravens.
All righty, well, let's take a minute to recognize one of our fabulous partners, and that is the Nebraska Brewing Company. We've been enjoying the smooth, easy-drinking Ale Storm, official beer of the Storm Chasers, Omaha's AAA baseball team, crafted with Pilsner malt and Sterling hops, making it the perfect summertime beer. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is WTL. Welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy Class, and joined by
JaBron.
The Parlay Pounder.
You got it. About to get into some parlays, too.
Yes, we are, and we got to keep that energy high.
Let's go.
We got to keep this thing rolling.
Yep.
We got to close it out in style on this fourth segment here. We're getting back into the UFC.
Let's do it.
But before we look ahead, let's
Okay.
take a look back and talk about some of our
right.
hits and misses.
All right.
And we are keeping this heater going right now.
Yeah.
We talked a little NFL preseason last week. We were very careful with our picks, and we just started out of the gates perfectly, going 2 for 2 on that first game.
Yeah.
Vikings, Seahawks, told you to smash the over 35. We got it at that easily covered, and then the Seahawks to cover the 3.5.
No doubt.
Boy, did they cover! They end up winning by 11. We bought that in at 3.5.
We just thought that they had a lot more to play for in this game, obviously, and that's the way the preseason looks. And knew that they were going to score points as well. So I thought that was a slam dunk by us. 2 for 2. One that I didn't slam dunk, Andy, is the UFC last weekend. Nice fight card over in Las Vegas. Cub Swanson, I thought he was past his prime.
Yep, you weren't the only one.
Yeah, comes out, gets a unanimous decision over Daewoo. I did call the main event correct. The Silent Assassin did take down RDA. Thought RDA's kind of, past his prime and all that kind of stuff. So I went 1 for 1 in the top 2 fights there. So 1-1, lost 1. But yeah, that preseason football was a lot of fun to get underway.
Yeah, it's always fun. And then the UFC, that's tough. We know it to split, but then also get the main card, main event correct.
Yeah,
that's a good way to close out the night.
Heck yeah, I was psyched.
So let's get back into the UFC.
Let's go.
We're talking UFC 292.
Yep.
Back in the Garden, back in Boston. Things kick off Saturday night at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Yeah.
We're going to get right into that main card right now. Let's look at this welterweight, 2 ranked fighters. Neil Magny, the guy from the United States, taking on Garry, a young man out of Ireland. You're looking at number 11 and the number 13 contender here. And Garry, big-time favorite at minus 500.
Yeah, Andy, and this was just a recent change in opponent for Garry as well. He was supposed to originally set off to go against Jeff Neal at UFC 292. Instead, we'll get a different Neal with Neil Magny. To me, Garry feels a lot like Sean O'Malley like 3 years ago. Cocky, talented, fresh face. The fan base loves him, especially the young fan base. Striker.
He's
a huge striker, making a name in the UFC.
Yep.
I just like this fight for him. Throwing up Neil Magny has been a staple in the UFC for so long.
Yep.
I think they're kind of feeding him to the wolves here, Andy, a little bit.
They're similarly ranked, but this is where that classic case of we're trying to roll out the red carpet here for Garry.
Yeah.
Beat a ranked opponent on a big stage.
No doubt. Magny is a crafty and rugged welterweight dog who will likely make the Irishman earn every bit of this win, but I think the result will likely be a unanimous decision. But Garry getting a KO early on the 36-year-old has showed considerably possible.
Yeah.
And that's why you're seeing that fight line, Andy, with Garry with that KO is only at plus 100.
Wow.
Isn't that nuts?
Whoa.
Yeah. So I really like, I think they're giving Neil Magny a little bit too much credit here and not giving the youngster with the big hands enough credit here. A big line that I like, Andy, is I don't think this is going to go the distance. Under 2.5 right now it is at a minus 125. So I like that as a parlay piece.
Yeah.
I do like Ian Garry to win by KO though at a plus 100. That's probably going in the parlay for sure. I think he gets the KO. I think he's just bigger, faster, stronger, younger. Check all the boxes. He's moving up this ranking system fast.
Yeah, and it does kind of feel like, oh, so-and-so's out, so who can we get in? Oh, Magny will take the fight.
Big ups for him taking this fight against just one of the scariest dudes in the welterweight division, climbing the ranks. His nickname is The Future. For a reason.
See how long that lasts.
Yeah.
Sometimes in the UFC, it's not too long.
It's not.
All right, should we move up to card here?
Let's do it.
To this is a championship bout.
Yeah.
A belt is on the line here.
A belt is on the line.
Young woman out of China, Zhang Weili, taking on Amanda Lemos, who's the number 5 contender in the strawweight women's weight class. She's from Brazil. And this, if you're looking at odds, it's pretty tight.
Yeah, I don't think it should be as tight as it is. Amanda Lemos is a very deserving title, challenger after winning 7 of 9 in the octagon and finishing top contender
13
Rodriguez
and 2, 13
in
and 2
November.
overall, yeah.
However, there's levels to this, Andy. And Zhang Weili is a fighter that is among the most talented in the sport, man or woman. I think Lemos will put up a good fight early, but however, the technique and power of Zhang will start to show as this fight progresses and eventually set up a TKO. She's getting the knockout. Zhang Weili is, right now sitting at a plus 110 for KO, so they think this is going to happen as well.
Wow.
And she will. She was going to KO her.
Well, both these gals are strikers. Lemos lands 4.5 significant strikes, per round, and then you're looking at Weili at almost six significant strikes with her hands.
No, she
per
gets
round.
after it.
So I think that this might actually work against Amanda Lemos, that she's going to want to stand up and strike and box and do those things. Like, well, you're kind of playing into
Weili. It's the way that Zhang's going to want it. A very odd thing that I see here, Andy, I guess not odd, but over 3.5 is at a plus 150 right now. It's a 5-round fight, obviously.
Yep.
I do believe that Lemos will be able to get to the championship rounds to 4 or 5, so I do like that plus money at the over 3.5 rounds right now. I do believe Weili gets the knockout in round 4.
Yeah, because I don't know if either they'll take the submission, but that's not necessarily their style and what they're looking for here. They're looking to kind of trade blows, maybe get a little boxing action.
Zhang Weili is the best women's fighter besides Amanda Nunes, and it's going to show. She's going to get a knockout round 4. Book it.
All right, don't overthink it.
Yeah.
That's just where it's at, is Weili. Okay, should we move to the main event?
I'm ready, Andy.
Aljamain Sterling, the current belt holder, is taking on Sugar Sean O'Malley, the number 2 contender in this bantamweight title. We previously talked about how stacked this bantamweight is.
Yeah.
And it just feels like Sterling has never got the respect he deserves.
Probably not.
He probably is now, though, as a minus 258 favorite, over a $2 favorite here.
For sure.
And I just want to run down some of these names that Sterling has knocked off, just so people know what we're dealing with here. Because, I just feel like you'd say Sterling and you just kind of shrug it off. Oh, I guess you won.
I don't. I know that.
Sandhagen, the Sandman, took him down. Peter Yan, twice, both times, the belt was on the line. TJ Dillashaw took him down in a title defense and then just took down Pseudo. You also got guys like Pedro Munhoz, who we've already talked about. All these guys, pelts on the wall here for Aljamain Sterling. Funkmaster, and a cool nickname too.
Yeah, one of the best.
As he's squaring up Sugar Sean O'Malley, and O'Malley the plus 210 underdog.
Yeah, Andy. And there's no doubt that Aljamain Sterling is the best 135-pound fighter in the world right now. And he is like you said, he's a sizable favorite because of that. However, my guy, he's my favorite. Sugar Sean O'Malley seems to be on this sort of rise that feels similar. And the reason that he's getting this, much traction is it's a similar, path that Conor McGregor and Israel Adesanya took to the belt. This is kind of what they did to get here. They were huge underdogs in their first championship fights. This guy as well. Yet, if he is to win this fight, it has to be early. He has to get him with a knockout.
He's got the knockout power.
He does. Yeah. The longer this fight goes, Andy, the more it favors the champ. But O'Malley's a very smart and measured fighter. Aljo has a wild striking style that perfectly sets up for his dominant wrestling. But there is a no doubt Sugar has been planning some traps for that. And I really think that he's going to catch him in one of these early rounds, Andy.
Oh, man.
I got O'Malley by TKO in round 1.
Whoa!
Round 1 TKO, Sugar Shot O'Malley.
What kind of plus money is that?
That is huge money, Andy. Just by knockout. To win the fight, he's at a plus 210, Andy. If you want to just go by knockout, it is plus 330 right now.
And then, when it gets closer to the fight, you're going to see that line really skyrocket.
Yeah.
A knockout, a KO in the first round.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Now, O'Malley does land a lot of significant strikes, over 7 per round. And Aljamain, though, he does a little bit of everything, and he does a little bit of everything
no
well.
Doubt.
You don't think that defense is going to be on point? You just think he knows what he needs to do, and he knows he needs to get it in early.
Yeah, no, I think really, it really comes down to if Aljamain gets out of the first 2 rounds, I believe Aljamain wins by decision or submission. The whole thing is that I think Sugar's going to start fast.
Yeah.
He likes to piece him up, likes to get his range, all that kind of stuff, and then come in for the kill. I've seen it, almost every fight that Sugar's ever done. And Aljamain, I think he's a little juiced up for this one. I think he's a little too juiced up for it. They're giving this young kid, this young rising star, a chance way before they gave Aljamain a chance to win the title. It's just, I think he's a little jazzed up, wants to put this guy in his place, and I think he's going to make a mistake big time in the first round.
And Sterling he seemed less than thrilled when Sean O'Malley took to the octagon after he took down Pseudo there and kind of got in his face. Didn't even allow him to enjoy.
Yeah, he just beat till then the best fighter of all time in the weight class, Triple C. He had just beat him, and they didn't even give him a chance to catch his breath. And Sugar Sean was up there with his Thriller jacket, saying that he's going down. So no, the UFC does that. They have to build the next fight. Aljamain understands that. It's just it's really cool that they're making this fight, and it's so fun that Sugar Sean has got there so quick, but it could end bad for him on Saturday night.
And a name like O'Malley, you got to think in a place like Boston, that's going to be fairly welcome, so there might be a little bit of home crowd behind him. I'm not so sure about that, but it just seems like Sean O'Malley does have a little bit of the fan base behind him.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's just because he's such a likable, he's a YouTuber, he's colored hair, all that kind of stuff.
Tattoos.
Yeah, tattoos and all that kind of stuff. Sugar Sean to win by KO in the first round is at a plus 900 right now, Andy.
Bingo.
I think it's going to happen.
Oh, my God. Do you got a parlay play?
I do.
For the people.
And I left Sugar out of it. I didn't want people saying that I'm homering him. So, no, I got Marlon Vera at a minus 192 to win his fight against Pedro.
Okay.
I got Zhang Weili to win by KO in her fight at a plus 100. And then I got the future, Ian Garry, to win by KO at a plus 100. Put those 3 together. It's a plus 538 bet. Put $25 on that to win $160.
Ooh, I like that. You rounded up 3 very plausible plus money bets there, put them together, and then you're also right. I got to go back to O'Malley with a plus 900.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, no, that's just a fun bet. I'm a huge fan of Sean O'Malley. I always will be. But you're right. Aljo does not get the respect he deserves, and if he puts the lights out on Sugar Sean, he's going to get a lot of attention.
Yep, I love it. Run down that parlay one more time.
The parlay is Vera to win money line, Zhang Weili to win by KO, Ian Garry to win by KO.
Nice. Well, that'll about do it for us this week, folks. Be sure to follow us on ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook handle. Of course, we're on Twitter, and our YouTube channel is expanding quicker than the universe. We have eclipsed 2,000 subscribers.
Let's go.
Thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you that have subscribed to that channel. We have a lot of fun on that, cutting it up and making those short videos.
No doubt. Just fun.
Also got those daily picks over on TikTok for all you TikTokers out there. For JaBron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.